All right. All right. We're gonna get started. As people join, they should be able to join. I'm recording this webinar, and I will also post it to the state championship webpage. So if you need to go back and refer to something, if you're not sure about it, it'll be posted on that page. So I just want to say good evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Vicki Cody. I'm with High Tech Kids. Jeannie Badger is also on the line tonight, and she's going to be managing the chat. So if you have a question and you want to throw it into the chat, if Jeannie can answer it right away, she will. Otherwise, I'll pause periodically to see if there are any questions. All right, so let's get started. So first, I want to say congratulations to all of you for advancing to the state championship. And I just want to sort of focus that it is on a Sunday this year. This is new. So it's Sunday, February 12th. And I hope all of you, I hope that's not a surprise to anyone on this call. But it is Sunday, and I know it's Super Bowl Sunday, and I didn't know that when I booked the venue, but this is going to be our weekend for as long as we, are at River Center. So, but we're very excited. All right, so tonight, really quickly, what we're going to cover, anyone who is a long standing coach with us knows that we used to do this meeting the morning of our event, which was a little stressful. I mean, even when I was a coach, they did it in the morning. Little stressful because you're trying to get to judging or get your robot rounds, or your kids are running around. So we're doing this early. So tonight we're going to go over the venue, and we're going to talk about the venue a lot today because it's new. We'll talk about spectators, the schedule, judging. We're going to go over robot performance. And then we're going to do all the robot game questions at the end. All right. So again, congratulations. And I want to thank you all for coaching. Just some fun facts for this year. We ended up with, I'm looking at my board to see if that number changed. We are at 444 teams this year. So we're bouncing back from COVID. We ended up with 13 regional events. One of those was a non-advancing event, which we had, 2 weeks ago, which was really successful. Really glad that we did that. We had our Minneapolis tournament last weekend, and we are still advancing teams. So we have our St. Paul tournament coming up this Saturday, which is why you might think you haven't heard from us for a while, but we had a whole month of events that is where our sectionals used to be, but so that we've been doing. So we will advance 66 teams. So the last batch of teams will advance this weekend, but we'll be at 66. So this should be a nice, healthy size event. And we're all really looking forward to it. So we're very excited to be at River Center. If we've seen you at all this year, I'm sure you've heard us talking about it. We're super excited to move into this new venue. We're kind of calling it like our big boy venue. So we're hoping that this really makes state special for our teams and for the kids. So we are going to be, in case you didn't know, so in this venue, there's sort of three main sections. So there's the Excel Energy Center where the Wild play, and we won't be there because there's ice in there. And then there's the St. Paul River Center, and then there's also Roy Wilkins Auditorium. They're all connected. And we will be in the River Center for judging and Roy Wilkins Auditorium for the robot game. Across the street, I don't know if you can see this on my slides, there's across the street from Kellogg, from the River Center, there is a parking ramp. And there's this skyway that you can take from the parking ramp. There's also all kinds of other parking around downtown Minneapolis. So one thing, and so when you come across the ramp, this is what you see as you come across, it's a skyway, and you come in, and this is, if you've ever been to a Wild game, this is probably the way you came in as well. So you'll just be coming across here. There are these we're going to have a drop-off area right here on Kellogg. So you have to be going in this direction, and I want to say this is going west. I'm not sure, but on this side, there are these little, they call them curb cutouts. So this is the road where the cars are, and then there are two cutouts. So if you are a school and you are bringing a bus, this is where your bus is going to drop off your kids, you and your kids and your robot and your stuff. If you have a car full of robot equipment or a car full of stuff that you don't want to, traverse through a parking garage, then across the ramp and everything, you can pull over here. There's a set of doors here, and there's another curb cutout. There are two really long curb cutouts. To unload here, you can unload, and I would have another adult with you, obviously, unload, because you can't leave your car here. You can sit there for a minute while you unload and everything, but it's sort of like the airport, right? You just need to load and unload and keep on moving. And I guess if you're doing that, I guess I wouldn't unload small children by themselves here. Just again, remembering we're in a public place, use the buddy system. But this little curb cutout will be really helpful for loading and unloading, because then at the end of the day too, you can pull your car around right here and load all your Lego stuff, all your stuff in there. All right. So this is an overhead view. So if this is Kellogg down here, these are the two doors. So when you come in, you can either go to the right or left. We're going to have people down here on the main level, helping you navigate, which way you're going. If you come from the ramp, you're going to come over the skyway here from the bottom, and you're going to go down this long ramp and come around to Wilkins this way. Whoops. Sorry. I got a little crazy there with my clicker. So the team pit area is going to be behind River Center. So when you come in, you can either come around to the right, come around to the left. It's like a big circle. So you're going to get into the Wilkins lobby, and that's where you're going to be headed when you come in the morning. All right. Also new with this venue, it's a little bit like if you were, I don't know, going to go to the hockey finals or someplace else, that is in a venue like this. You can't bring your own food. So you can't bring cases of water. You can't bring a box of donuts. You can't order pizza. You can't bring in coolers. They've had a couple of people email me with some questions and concerns, because they've had dietary issues. In talking to the people that run concessions, they are going to make sure that they offer gluten-free items, vegetarian items, all the different issues dietary issues that people have emailed me. And I think between all the emails I've gotten, we've probably covered most of them. There's also places to eat if you don't want to stay there. We're in the middle of St. Paul, so I'm sure that there's other places to eat too, but there will be concessions. So we will have concessions on the robot floor, on the same level as the robot game. And then where the spectators sit on the mezzanine level, there will also be, and that one will be actually probably the biggest one, because that's their biggest concession stand. There will be concessions there as well. All right, so all of our COVID restrictions are pretty much lifted, so spectators are welcome. So this event is free and open to the public. We want our spectators, they can watch judging, they can follow the kids around. Just, I'm going to say like in the olden days, but I'm going to say like pre-COVID. They can, grandma and grandpa can come, and aunts and uncles and whoever can, and you can go in and watch the kids do whatever they do. One thing to note, so Roy Wilkins is a very old building. To get up to where the spectator viewing is, there's no elevator and there's no ramp. So I'm going to show you another diagram here in a minute, but we are going to have seating for ADA seating on the floor of where the robots are running. So we're going to have availability down there so that if you can't do stairs, there'll be a way for you to be down on the floor and watch those robots run. But when you go to judging, when I get to this, judging is on the second floor of the River Center. There are elevators there, so that shouldn't be a problem. Actually, I'm going to go back a second before we hit the event schedule. Jeannie, are there any questions about the venue?
No, it's just concerns about where to eat. And then there's one about celiac certified vendors. That would actually be a question that I would suggest they contact River Center directly and
Right.
ask that specifically to them.
Okay. Yep. Okay. All right. All right. So our event schedule. So this is just I'm hitting the high points of our event schedule. The general event schedule is posted on the webpage, the championship webpage. So to see every single thing on that general event schedule, but here are the high points. The doors are going to open at 7:30. We're going to have opening ceremonies at 7:55. And then everything kind of gets started at about 8:25. So that's when the practice rounds will start, so right after our opening ceremonies. And then judging is going to begin at 9, and we're going to keep rolling. So FLL is structured that we don't have a hard break for lunch. So everyone's going to have a little bit of a different lunch schedule depending on what your team's detailed schedule is. But everyone should be done in and around 1, let's say 30-ish. And Jeannie can tell me if that's correct or not, but in and around 1:30-ish, maybe 1:40. At 2:10, we will post our finalist judging, and I'll get into what finalist judging is in a second. At 2:30, head-to-head will start. Lots of stuff happens in the afternoon, and then at 6 o'clock, about 6 o'clock, we're expecting the awards. So the detailed team schedule. So like I said, we still have teams advancing this weekend. So we're not going to get that schedule posted until after February 1st. Please don't email Jeannie or I on February 1st and ask where it is, because it might be that we're trying to work something out. We will, when it's posted, I promise I will email you right away to say the schedule is up. But don't expect it before the end of the month. We are live streaming this year on our Twitch channel. So the same place that you guys watched your awards. So we did a live stream last year. So if you have relatives that are, live far away or live in a different state or couldn't be there, have them tune in. It's not going to be of judging, but it will be what's happening, on the floor of all the robot rounds. All right, so this is very similar. What you're bringing is very similar to what you brought to your regional tournament. Bring your loose pieces. So we're going to have practice tables there, but we're going to want you to bring those loose pieces. And that's everything that I have listed here, all the little energy things, the dinosaurs, both of them, the car, the truck, the water units, just anything that is not dual locked down, which also is going to include those 2 little minifig guys who sit on the when you push the television. Please do not bring your challenge mat and kit and spread it on the floor and have your own little practice station in your pit. Please don't do that. So this is a safety issue that we've talked about with River Center. And so if we see those, we're going to ask you to roll those up, put them away, and take them back to your car. And then you guys might get mad at me because it's probably going to be a hike all the way to your car. So just don't bring the mats and put them on the floor. The other things to bring, just like at your regional, make sure you're going to have access to power. So a power strip. Bring all your judging stuff for your project and for your robot, extra computer or not extra computers, your computer, and then extra Lego pieces just in case, because we all know Lego is a toy and something will break. And if it's going to break, it's going to break at the state championship, because when else would it break? So bring some extra pieces, bring some writing utensils. Sometimes the kids need writing utensils. I don't know why. One thing that you can bring, if in your pit you wanted to have, I don't know, suckers, they said that would be okay to bring something like that. Those little itty bitty candy giveaways, you can bring those, and that would be fun. All right. So when you check in on Sunday morning, so see this little pink thing is my table. So after you come in from the lobby and you either go to the right or you go to the left, you're gonna come into the lobby, and the lobby is huge. So you're gonna check in. I'm gonna be there. We don't need any paperwork. Yay, no paperwork. But I do want you to check in with me because I am gonna give you your medals for the kids. So I'm gonna ask you again, just to make sure that we have the right number of medals in that envelope for you, to make sure you have medals for your kids. And again, just like at regionals, you can choose to give them to the kids right away in the morning, or you can give them to the kids later. Once I give them to you, you're in charge of how you distribute those. And I only need to talk to the coaches. So if you want to tell your parents who maybe are also bringing kids, they can go straight back to the team pit area. So when you come into the lobby, there's going to be doors on either side, and the team pit area is back here. So you'd walk past the performance area back here to the team pit area. And just like at your regional, we're going to put those teams in numerical order. If you're a coach who has multiple teams, I'm going to group you together because it makes it easier for you. So I'm going to put all your teams together. If you have multiple teams and you don't want them together, please let me know. Maybe you have extra coaches and you're not worried about it. But otherwise, if you have multiple teams, I'm going to put you together. All right. So in the pits, so Jeannie and I are pretty excited about how great these pits are going to be. We are not going to have tape on the floor, which used to be put down by Jeannie and I rolling around on Friday night, taping the floor in that gym. So you are going to have, they're going to be delineated by something called a tensa barrier. And those are these little half fabric walls. So you're going to have your own little area. You're going to have it just like your other events, access to power. You're going to have a table. And I believe they are 8-foot tables. But they're either 8-foot or 6-foot. And I honestly don't know which we're going to get down there. 2 chairs. And so, but these tables are like conference tables. So they're typically, they cover them for clients, right? So we're not paying to have all these pit tables covered. I would highly recommend something to put on top of it because the tabletops have seen better days. So either a tablecloth or one of those disposable ones works great too. Just something, and that's a way too to decorate your pit, right? So you get a disposable tablecloth or something just to throw over that tabletop, just to make it a little bit nicer to sit at. You can decorate your pit however you like. It's not as common in First Lego League, but in First Tech Challenge, I know there are some teams that have these tent structures that they bring in and they hang stuff from it and everything. If you have a structure like that, that's fine. It just can't have a top on it. So you can put the tent up without the top. The tops are not allowed at this venue. So if you do have a tent, just make sure that when you measure the tent legs, when the legs are down, that's 10 by 10. There are some tents that the legs splay out past 10 by 10. You won't be able to put your tent up because of the way the area is going to be defined. And I don't want you encroaching on your neighbor and anything else. In that pit area, there will be, so they're going to be all 66 of you in one area. There's going to be 4 practice tables for you to share. And again, like I said before, we're going to supply the mats and the pieces that go on there. So please don't bring a mat to put on the floor. Don't bring a wooden table. We're not going to have space for any of that. So pit area is going to be very similar to what you experienced at your regional. All right, so here's a little bird's eye view of the drawing that I sent to the people that at River Center. I haven't heard yet if they're going to be able to bring in some bleachers on the floor, but if you imagine the seating is up above, it's sort of a U-shaped seating like this. That's where the parents and the audience will be. From the seating, it's not like regular bleachers in a gym, like in a school gym where you can just be in the bleacher seating, walk down the bleachers and you're on the floor. This is bleachers and there's sort of a wall. I believe this venue used to be a hockey arena. So you imagine that there's a wall there. So you can't get directly, you can't keep walking down the seats to get down to the floor, which is why we were talking to them about bringing some bleachers in so that the kids, when their team is running, or maybe when they're watching head to head, there's some place for the teams to be so they don't have to go all the way back up into the seating up above. So we're going to bring some bleachers in. This is going to be for the coaches and the kids on the team. We would really like all the spectators to be up in the stands up above. Also down here, we'll have ADA seating right near the bleachers. And so they will be able to go from one side to the other, depending on what table they're on. So you're in this diagram. So the team pit area is back here, over here to the left. Shoot. And can you hear me now? Okay, sorry. Going to be over here to the left. There's a door on either side. So there's a door here and there's a door here. So we're going to have two check-ins. Obviously, you can see how this is laid out. One check-in is going to be for the red, blue, yellow table. The other is going to be for the green, purple, orange table. So depending on when you look at your schedule, it'll tell you what table. So make sure you're checking in either. So this check-in will clearly be for the purple, orange, green tables. And this one will be the red, yellow, blue tables. So it should be fairly obvious when we get down there. So that then the teams will queue, and this is where we'll have all the team queuing, and they'll go up to their table, they'll put their stuff on. If they have a cart, we're going to have a cart storage somewhere. I'm not sure if it's exactly going to be here, but we will have a space if you have a cart to put your cart. That's going to be sort of out of the way. All right. Before I head to judging, is there any questions? Any questions about the robot performance area, Jeannie, that I can answer?
You must have said something about parents can't come to judging. So
Nope.
I just want you to say that again. They can.
No, that they can come to judging. That can. Everyone is welcome. We'll have lots of seating and judging for spectators. So please, please, please invite your parents and whoever's coming with you to come and watch.
Lots of questions about additional chairs in the pits.
Like what questions? Like they want additional chairs in the pits?
Should they bring additional chairs? Yep. Where are parents going to sit in the pits? Where are kids going to sit in the pits?
Oh, so your pit is 10 by 10. So you're not going to be able to. In the past, a lot of times the pits became this place where everybody camped out. We won't have that. You won't be able to do that. I've walked into the pits before in past years, and it looks like all you needed was a campfire around all these camp chairs. There won't be that much space. Your space is going to be 10 by 10. There's going to be an aisle. There's going to be probably, two teams back to back, and then there's going to be an aisle. There's going to be another team there. And to be super honest with you, this is the first time in this venue, and I really honestly don't know how much space there will be. I would, I think if you're going to have a lot of if you have a lot of kids on your team, you might want to bring some chairs. But I really encourage spectators to sit up in the seating at Roy Wilkins. It's actually, the seats have cushions, they have backs, they're going to be way more comfortable than sitting in the pit area. We are also, and this is on a later slide, we also have the area in the lower level of Roy Wilkins, and we're going to be putting some tables down there for lunch. So there should be some seating available down there as well, along with some other things that are going on down there that I'll talk about. But we're really encouraging the parents and the spectators to not camp out in the pits this year, especially because we don't know how much room we'll really have. All right. Are we
Hey,
good?
Vicki.
Yes.
So I put a question in
Oh.
because I have so many teams
Yes.
and I need to make sure I have somebody with my teams. Is it okay if I
Mhm.
designate a parent to be coach of the day for that team and
Yeah.
be in the bleachers?
Absolutely. I know that
Okay.
that you have a happy problem this year, Chris.
I'm not sure, but I guess.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
losing my
We
mind
can-
right now, but yeah.
We can talk about that. That should
Okay.
not be a problem because you're going to need somebody with those kids all the time anyway.
Yep.
And you can't always be there. So
Nope.
not a problem.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Yep. And if anyone else has multiple teams, Chris has multiple teams. And you have that same problem, please let us know. Either throw an email to me or throw it to Jeannie or to both of us. And we can take care of you. We don't want kids running around, but we also don't want, 25 people in each pit. Because I think that's not going to be very comfortable. So. All right.
Will the runs be separated? Like, this seems like a huge venue. Last year, it was like we were running from one thing
Oh.
to the next.
Yep. So last year we were doing waves. So nope, we're not going to do it that way this year. So this year, and maybe Jeannie can speak to this more because Jeannie is actually the person that puts the schedule together, but there will be space in between your robot run and your judging, and then maybe another robot run and another one, and then another judging. You want to talk about that a little bit, Jeannie?
Sure. So actually we walked this purposefully. We even lost Norm along the way on purpose because you guys will lose a kid somewhere going from one side to the other. And it is 4 minutes from the pit to the
Yeah.
judging. It feels like you're kind of looking at it and it looks like it's a long way, and it's actually not. So it took us only 4 minutes. And that, if anyone who has been at Washington Tech with us in the past, that is way faster than it
Yep.
took you to get to judging at Washington Tech.
Yeah.
You will not, there are 2 elevators. We're going to ask only teams that have carts to use those elevators. Otherwise, going from there, it's a nice long ramp and it's like 8 steps up. So we want to reserve those elevators for grandmas and grandpas who need that, and robots on carts.
Yep. Yeah. So you should have plenty of time between your runs. It won't be as
There's plenty of
compressed.
time, and I've worked the schedule so that no one is racing. You are not racing from one place to another. Last year you were, because of the waves. In order to make this happen, we had to condense our times, but we are back to the times that we have used in the past, and it will, I know it feels crazy, but it's not as bad.
Okay, and then is there a callback this year? Because we've never.
Yep.
experienced
Yep, and
that.
Vicki will get to
Yep.
that, and she'll talk about that.
Yep.
Vicki, we still have questions about the pit area. I think that
Okay.
people are really worried about these 2 chairs.
Oh,
There will be bleachers, there will be places to sit. Your kids shouldn't be sitting around in the pits anyway. They should be out enjoying the event
Mhm.
and interacting with other teams and practicing for their judging, and so, and kids can sit on the floor. Right.
So can I speak? So at the champs thing in like Houston and Detroit, it's a similar setup.
Mhm.
And for teams, usually what they'll do is they'll leave like parent and a couple kids sometimes at the pit just to answer questions to other people going around, but everybody else is moving around the venue, checking out things. There's just so much stuff to see and do. So your kids aren't going to just park at the pits like they might at a regional tournament.
Hopefully, yes. Yeah, and we're gonna have some activities. I'll get to this also in the Roy Wilkins Exhibition Hall, which is really their lower level. It's right below us where we are. There's escalators that go down from the lobby, and we're gonna have some stuff happening down there. So so hopefully we're gonna keep them engaged all day. So all right, so I'm gonna touch on judging right now. So when you go to judging, you're gonna come back out. I know this looks big, but like, so Jeannie said, we went from the pit area and Jeannie went this way, I went this way just for fun. And it was like 4 minutes. It was way faster than we thought it would be. And I even like lollygagged and I stopped and I tied my shoe and I sat down and I pretended to walk slow. And so it was really, it's just, this is a big long ramp this way and the stairs are right here. There's an elevator to the E. It's really this X and there's some stairs here. So what we'd like you to do is when you come out of Roy Wilkins, go to the, what is that? That is the right. And then when you exit, we're going to ask you to exit this way. So there's the elevator right here. And there, correct me if I'm wrong, Jeannie, I believe there's escalators right here. And there are stairs. I think these are stairs.
The
So there's an
escalators
elevator.
may not be turned on.
Right.
And no robots, no carts are allowed
Right.
on the escalators.
Right. But if you just have
So-
people and they're
Yep,
running.
don't count on escalators,
Yeah.
just. And again, like I said, we want the elevators to be for people with carts and maybe grandma and grandpa up,
Right.
you know, or someone who
Right.
needs to get
So-
up there.
So we're asking for this sort of traffic flow, just so that because we're going to have 12 teams checking in at a time so that we don't get all clogged up either on this elevator. This is a big set of stairs, big wide set of stairs, but if we just keep going around this way, and there'll be people there to help you. So at state, we are going to have 6 judging groups. So we broke out the rest of our names. So we'll have Lakes, Woods, Prairie, like we usually do, and then rivers, marshes, marsh, and snow. So you are going to be assigned to one of those groups, and in the morning, you are judging within that judging group, just like at regionals. You're going to do your project, you're going to do your robot design. There'll be a core values person in with each one of those judging stations. And so that's how the morning will go. So when you come in, we are going to have a check-in table right about here. Please make sure you check in with that check-in table. If you come out of Roy Wilkins and you go the wrong way and you end up back here, I need you to walk all the way down to the check-in table. Our check-in people are going to be the ones that are going to, really monitor, people in the hall here, even though it's a big wide hall. But just making sure that we have all the teams and that we're running on time. And again, spectators are more than welcome to come in and watch. We're going to have more than enough room. These judging rooms, these conference rooms are quite large. So we're going to have tons of space. Just a reminder, just like at regionals, your presentation for either robot design or project is 5 minutes. So your first part, the first 5 minutes is all about the kids and what they want to share. When you come into the room, and I'll show you my next slide has a little diagram of the room. Please don't sit behind the judges. Sometimes the judges move the rooms around from the way we've set them up to whatever they're comfortable with. You'll be able to take photos or videos and stuff, but just don't sit behind the judges. It should be fairly obvious. Hopefully they're not resetting the room in that way. But usually they don't like it when people are behind them. But so the presentations are 5 minutes. So you're going to walk in the room and it's a pretty long room. They're all long and skinny. I'm sure that the judges are going to greet the kids, and then the kids are going to start setting up, and that's when they're going to start that timer. All right, so here's our room setup. Like I said, it's long and skinny, but the judges are going to be at the back of the room because all the seating is going to be here, and there will probably be an aisle. So the kids will have a table that they can use. There will not be projectors in the room. I can't guarantee that the room that you're in has a white wall because they don't all have white walls, because some of them have fabric walls. And I can't even guarantee you access to power because depending on where your room is, both of these walls may be retractable. And if they're both retractable, then you won't have power. So assume that you don't have power. Assume that you can't project on a wall. I would encourage you not to have a PowerPoint, do something that's a little bit more engaging. And also that's easier because depending on what room you end up in, I can't guarantee that you'll be able to plug anything in or project anything anyway, even if you bring all that equipment yourself. Okay, so just like your regionals, bring those same things to those same judging. So to your robot design judging, your robot, your attachments, your programs. If you did a poster, if you want to print your programs, whatever it is that you brought for that session, same thing with your innovation project. Your model or your prototype or your drawing, however you did that for your innovation solution. If the kids have props, costumes, whatever, if you did a trifold, all that stuff, make sure you're bringing all that with you as well. All right, so someone asked about finalist judging. So a little bit about how this works, because we did not do this last year. So what happens in each one of those judging groups, so lakes, woods, prairie, marsh, river, snow, you go in, everyone in that judging group is going to go through their judging process. And the judges are going to pick the top team in each group. So for instance, if I was a project judge, I would pick out of the 11 teams that I see, I'm going to pick my top one. Now, sometimes they might have two, but typically it's only one. And they will be called back for finalist judging. Now, not every trophy we give has a finalist judging attached to it, but it is the core awards. So it's so there'll be a championship callback. There'll be core values. There'll be innovation project. We also call back for creative presentation. What that is it probably doesn't have anything to do with your actual project innovation. It's just exactly what it sounds like. The presentation that you gave was just really creative, whatever that format was. We call back for robot design and then robot programming. So the way this works is at about 2:15, cross your fingers, at 2:15, on the big screens in the performance area, we will post team numbers. And if your team number is up there, I will be in Roy Wilkins' lobby where you checked in with a sheet of paper that will say your team number 1, 2, 3, 4, and then whatever you've been called back for. If you've been called back for 1 or 2 or whatever, and it's going to have times on it when you're going to go back to judging. And so if you get a call back at that time, you will go back to River Center, check in, and they'll tell you where to go. And so you'll just follow that finalist schedule. And again, like I said, you'll go back to River Center, make sure that you're checking in. So a lot of people, because finalist judging, we only do it once a year, what to expect. And so this is a question I get asked a lot. They get called back for championship and they have no idea what that is, because this is the only time that we would call back for a champion. So champion and core values, that is simply, you're just going to sit down with the judges and it's a Q&A session. They're going to just ask you different questions. And the kids it's just a conversation with the kids. For if you're called back for innovation project, that means your innovative solution. So they're going to ask you to give that presentation, and they're going to want to talk to you about your actual solution. There are some judges that just want to dive right into your solution, and they might just start asking you questions about that. The creative presentation, you will definitely be giving your presentation, because that's exactly what that callback is. Same with robot design and programming. You have the opportunity to give your little, dog and pony show about your robot design, your programming, whatever. And then there'll be a Q&A session for that. And expect that these Q&A sessions are going to dive a little deeper than maybe what happened in the morning. You may see a judge you recognize from the morning, you may not. We take the judges, we mix them up, and then they kind of go off. We have lots of judges that have very specific specialties that, like, they really like program, they really like design, or maybe that's what they do for a living. So that can really, ask some really great questions. So the finalist judging it's a lot of conversation with the kids. All right. Jeannie, are there any questions about judging or finalist judging? I know it's something we didn't do last year, but we're back at it. Are we good?
I've answered any questions on the
Okay.
chat. I don't have any specifically one.
Okay. All right. All right. We're going to keep
How
moving
many
on.
teams
Oh,
are advancing
yes.
this year?
Oh, sure. I'm sorry.
How many teams are advancing this year?
Oh, I will get to that in a second. All right, so for robot performance, so I showed you the floor there. So again, very similar rules as to what you had in your regional. We don't want any adults at the performance table, just the kids. Like I said, we're gonna have a cart parking lot so they can, dump their stuff, and then one of the kids can wheel the cart over to wherever we're gonna have that. Just a reminder that robots are autonomous. We're not allowing, you can't bring a tablet or any sort of driving device to the performance tables. Also, only one robot at a time, meaning per match. So you can't bring two robots to have, two robots on either side or anything like that. We are providing all the mission models for the performance tables, which leads me to, please don't walk away with our mission models, because it'll just slow us down, and we don't want to get behind chasing somebody down for energy units or something. Again, same as regionals, we don't have any video replays. The referees are going to go over on our scoring app with the kids. Yes, no, however many, whatever. And like I said before, if a mistake happens, because you guys know that score is going to hit the board right away. If you really expected to get a 250 and it says 75, well, clearly there was a problem. So either it was a mistake made, it's a tablet, could have been a mistake on a, we could have fat fingered something, but we want to get that fixed right away. So make sure that the kids are going up and telling the head referee, I think that's wrong. I was on the purple table. Let's talk about this soon. Make sure that they bring that to the referee's attention sooner rather than later, because the referees aren't going to remember what happened 6 matches ago, but they're going to remember, oh yeah, last match. Oh, you're right. They did get the windmill. This did happen, and somehow it didn't get scored properly. So just make sure that they're watching that. We'll have a practice round like we did at regionals, and it won't count, but it'll help the kids, get their jitters out, get on the table, make sure that, everything's working properly. And then we're going to have those 3 scored matches. And just like regionals, it's the highest score. It's not combined. It's not an average. It's just your highest score. We just take the highest score. All right. So one thing we're bringing back, because we're all day, is head to head. And what's kind of fun is we haven't done head to head since before COVID, and I'm pretty excited about it. So all the teams are gonna, so after you've done your judging and your practice round and your 3 official rounds, there's a little bit of a break, and we bring all the teams back and we do a head to head. And imagine Sweet 16 basketball. The teams will be bracketed. So this is after the finalists are put up on the board, then they're going to put the brackets for head to head. I don't know, maybe they might put the brackets first, but about that same time, the brackets for head to head will come up. And so what happens is it's, like I said, like Sweet 16, like number 1 against number 16, and they bracket down. So it's single elimination. But the teams are competing actually directly against the team across from them. So your team might get 25, but if that team gets 0, your team moves on. So whoever has the highest score, let's say on the purple table, that team moves on. And it just keeps whittling down. I always like to tell people that head to head is where your kids will score their highest round, because it doesn't count. But it's very exciting. So these scores don't factor into advancement. We do have trophies 1 through 4 for this. It's just super exciting. Everyone's in the gym. It's super loud. It's really fun. It's a great time to really watch all the robots because you're not doing anything else. So you might as well watch robots. People ask us why we do head to head, because from the outside looking in, it's a little bit chaotic, but it's high energy. Well, like I've said, it's very fun. I'm a huge lover of head to head. But it also runs opposite of our finalist judging schedule. So we are also using it as a way to engage the kids again, keep them busy. So they just don't have a lot of downtime with nothing to do. So for instance, Lakes Woods Prairie will do their head to head first, while Rivers and Snow and Marsh are in finalist judging, and then they flip. So we're kind of keeping everybody busy. And so what'll happen is we will whittle down to Lakes Woods Prairie. We'll end up with the last 4 teams, and then River Snow Marsh will have the last 4 teams. And then we do like a playoff at the end. And what that timing is that playoff at the end, all of our teams have already gone through finalist judging, and the judges are determining who the winners are. And we're putting together a PowerPoint and everything else and preparing for the award ceremony. And so that's sort of why we have head to head. Now, the other thing that's going to be happening during that time is we have this innovation fair happening in the basement, lower level of Roy Wilkins Exhibition Hall. So there's going to be seating down there for lunch. We're going to have this photo backdrop that we just actually received in the mail today. We're very excited about it. It's huge. It's 10 feet long. So you will for sure be able to get all your kids in there on a nice, just plain backdrop. We have enlisted some of our sponsors and some STEM nonprofits that we partner with to have booths from noon until about 4:30. So Stratasys is coming in with a 3D printer, and they're going to have that printer going, and they can talk to kids about 3D printing. We're going to have STEM activities. I know Boston Scientific is coming in with some STEM activities. We're going to have some nonprofits like The Works and the Bakken Museum bringing in things for kids to do. We will have our 3M visiting wizards. They'll come in and do, I believe he's going to do 2 shows, and I don't have the times yet, but we'll have that for you. We're also going to have First Tech Challenge demos. So we're going to have So on Friday and Saturday before your event is our FTC state championship, but we are enlisting some FTC teams to come in and demo their robots and talk to teams and coaches. We're gonna have some parents there. If you want to learn about FTC, if your kids are getting older, if you're thinking about it when they do get older, this is a good opportunity to really see a robot in person. They may let you drive it, depends if they advance to state the day before or to the worlds the day before, but they'll be a great way to learn about what's the next robotic thing. All right, so this year, someone asked about advancement. We have 3 slots to 3 different events. We have 1 slot to Worlds in Houston. We have a slot to the Razorback Open, which is in Arkansas, Fayetteville, Arkansas. And we have a slot to the Western Edge Open, which is in LA, well, Long Beach technically, but it's in the LA area. Because we have 3 different things that are 3 different weekends for 3 different prices. We've done this before. So we will have, when we give our awards, we'll have our champion first place, champion second place, champion third place. We are going to allow the first place champion to pick first, and then the second place champion will pick, and then the third place will get the last one or decline. Or any of them can decline if they can't make any of these dates. But every time I ask you to pick, you'll have about 2 days because we have to get, we have a little bit later championship than other people. So we need to get our stuff into first about who's going where. And for those 3 teams, I'll talk to them on that day in a little bit more in detail about how that whole process works. But essentially, it's just the first place gets first pick, second place gets second pick. All right. During the competition, again, just like regionals, you always can talk to a purple shirt. You know, there's going to be a lot of us there, or all of us are going to be there. But robot questions, we're going to have 2 head referees on the floor. Any referee can answer a question, and if they don't know, if they will defer to their head referee. Same thing with judging questions. We will have head judges roaming that hallway. But again, if you can find any judge, they all wear the red shirts, or High Tech Kids people will be around. Questions before the competition, Jeannie and I, the best way is to email us, because we both have different schedules, working at home, working in the office, kind of a thing, but certainly email us if you have questions. And I guess my last plug is we are looking for adult volunteers, just general volunteers during the day to help us with check-in, directional, helping people with directions. We don't have swag as good as when the Super Bowl was here, but we do have t-shirts. But we're hoping to get some people to help us out. All right.
Vicki, before we get to that,
Yes.
2 questions. So if any of the top 3 decline, will we offer to 4th or 5th place
Yes,
for
we will.
those opportunities?
And that's happened before in the past. Our judges will actually rank the teams, all the teams that get called back for champions, and then there's a process if we cycle through all those teams, but that's never happened. But yes, they would go to number 4.
And then I just want to put a plug out there. FTC First Tech Challenge is competing this same weekend. They will be there Saturday all day long. So if you are interested, that is also free and open to the public. And we would love to have you come check out First Tech Challenge. If you do want to visit the pits, you are going to want to bring your own safety glasses, or we'll sell them to you. But we don't lend those out. So if you're interested, please come see that. It's gonna be fantastic fun.
Yep. Yeah, robots all weekend. All right. So we do have a head referee, Josh, on the line. So if you guys have any robot questions, and there's Josh, Any
Hello.
robot questions? Hi.
Hang on 1 second, Vicki.
Yeah.
There's 2 others I want to quick, is there state gear for sale? There will be t-shirts for sale
Oh, I forgot
at the
about that.
competition.
Mhm.
All teams go to head to head. Like I
Mhm.
said, Vicki
Mhm.
said Lakes, Woods, Prairie will all go at the same time. Marsh, River, Snow will go at the same time. And it's that kind of single elimination. So all, what is that? 33 teams
Yeah, half
will
and half.
go
Yeah.
one match, and then the winner of that match moves on. And
Right.
then the loser of that match can stay and watch, or they can go check out the innovation fair
Right.
or take a breather.
Mhm.
But yeah, so all teams are in head to head, and then it just kind of
Right.
it just gets whittled down. So
And-
teams, if they move on in head to head, they should stay in that performance area, because things actually get moving pretty quickly once
That's
things
true.
start happening.
And the state, the t-shirt vendor, she will be, or he, they will be stationed right in that Roy Wilkins lobby. So you should see them as you enter into the pits. You probably will end up walking right past them. So they will be right in that lobby area. All right. Should we move on to robot game questions? Or maybe you guys don't have any robot game questions.
Looks like there might be a couple.
Okay. All right, Josh, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Excellent. All right. Well, congratulations to you and your teams for qualifying for state. We're looking forward to a wonderful tournament. It'll be a lot of fun to see how the teams have improved. And thank you for everything you do for the teams. You guys invest a lot of time and effort, so we really appreciate that. We are really looking forward to having spectators in judging again this year, as we did in the regional tournaments. But please remember that that is the kids' time. They have 5 minutes to set up and do their presentation. And some teams take all of that and maybe even a little bit more. So make sure that any spectators are quiet and intently watching to see what the kids did and what the kids learned. Then in the performance area, if the kids have a bin of robot parts and such, or a cart, we ask that they come up to the performance table and get all of the stuff that they need, all their equipment onto the table, and then get the cart or the bin over into the cart and bin parking area. So nobody steps in the bins, trips over carts, and so on and so forth. Everything that the kids use during the match must fit within the 2 launch areas, and that's the 2 quarter circles. And the kids can take things apart, stack things on top of each other, play a Tetris game to make them fit. They can hold them down, whatever they need to do to get them to fit into the 2 launch areas. And there is a 12-inch ceiling on those 2 launch areas for inspection. But if the teams can get all of their stuff to fit into 1 inspection area, then there is a bonus for that. So we really encourage teams to try to fit into the single launch area with the 12-inch ceiling. Then once they've passed inspection, they'll be given a little bit of time to have the team separate, because we need, no matter how many kids are on the team, we need the team to separate into the 2 sides. Once the kids choose a side, they must stay on that side for the entire 2.5-minute round. We can't have them running back and forth from side to side. And they can take whatever they need on either side and get that distributed and set up and ready. We ask that all of the stuff that they use either sits within the home area, which is the launch area, and then the black area on either side. And it can hang off the wall if needs be, or the technicians. Each side can have 2 technicians at the table working with the robot or the attachments at once. And the technicians are the only ones that can be holding robot parts, attachments, things like that. The teams can bring 2 sheets of paper, one for either home area, that they can write notes on, have slogans, whatever they want that tells them what programs to use, what attachments to use, what missions to do, or encouraging statements for them and the other teams. So they are welcome to bring 2 pieces of paper. Let's see, we did have a question on the windmill. And we have noticed that some of the windmills are a little sticky, where when the team goes and pushes the actuator, the arm rises, but the energy units do not fall out because they stick together. That is within the normal variation of play. So if that happens during the matches in state, they will not get points for energy units that do not fall. So make sure that they are pushing that actuator with enough power to get things to move, and preferably not move the windmill off the table, because then they won't get any points for it. All points are awarded at the end of the match, so any scoring opportunity must be visible at the end of the match, at the end of the 2.5 minutes. Once the teams have split up into 2, they've got everything in their home areas. They can get the robot ready to launch, give us a big thumbs up once we get thumbs up from all of the tables, which we've got a bunch of them, so it'll be a lot of fun to see all the robots. But then we'll do a countdown, 3, 2, 1, Lego. The kids can push go on the L of Lego. Once the robot leaves launch, they will incur a precision token, a loss of a precision token, if they have to rescue the robot or touch the robot once it leaves launch. And if they do need to rescue the robot, we ask that whichever side those kids are from, that they take the robot back to their side. If the robot needs to go to the other side, then the kids from that side need to rescue the robot, or the kids can ask the ref can you rescue the robot for us and hand it to this side or that side. The robot is the only thing that can take stuff from one side of the table to the other side of the table. So the kids cannot pass fixtures or jigs or anything else back and forth from one side of the table to the other side of the table. And let's see, are there any other?
So Josh, can I interrupt real quick? So
Yep.
someone asked about that, like for instance, the stickiness of the windmill. I just wanted to say, so after our last event this weekend, we have a volunteer that's coming in and she will meticulously go through every single mission model, and anything that's not working, she will rebuild. And we will really try to make sure that everything is working in perfect order for state. If anyone's worried about that.
Yep. Before the matches start at state, at any tournament, and throughout the day, we typically will try to make sure everything is working correctly. If teams see something that is amiss or whatever, please have them talk to the ref to either test it or set it up per the rules. But we can't have teams testing things or customizing the field to how they see fit. And there was a question. At any time, please have the kids come and talk with either the refs or the head refs if they have questions or concerns, especially if it's scoring related. Let us know as quickly as possible so that we can remedy it and go from there. Figure that stuff out.
All right, Josh, there's one question I have here.
Yeah.
If the innovation model and energy units are in the robot and the robot is in the power to X circle, do they get the points? In
Yes, they
parentheses,
do.
yep, in parentheses it says the innovation project and units will not be touching the ground.
And that is okay. Those missions do not require the, let's see, power to X. Oh, my rulebook just went blank. That's never good. Let's see. So for the innovation project model, if the project model is at least partly in the circle, they'll get the points. So that can be sitting on energy units, can be sitting on the robot, can be sitting on a fixture or a jig, whatever they happen to use to transport it over there. And same with the energy units. The energy units must be completely in the circle, but they do not have to be touching the circle or touching the mat. All right.
right.
Any other questions?
There's one here from Matt, says, I think I heard you say it was allowed for the technicians to hold equipment while the robot is running. Can you confirm? So instead of having to leave it on the mat, could they be holding it?
So they can be holding equipment, which is the stuff that they bring. So if there are attachments to the robot or parts of the robot, they can be hanging on to that. Or if the robot has gone out and brought stuff back, energy units, the dinosaur, things like that, then a technician can be hanging on to that stuff. So yes.
Let's see here.
And yep, when it comes to the mats, we'll be trying to keep them in the right spot. Some of these robots have been moving the mats here and there this year, so we are aware of that and trying to make sure that they stay centered and in the right position. But once again, if the kids take a look at it and they see that it isn't centered, have them tell the ref and we will fix it as quickly as possible.
And that's a good rule of thumb too. If your kids do the windmill, for instance, and they were watching the robot before them, and maybe the robot before them went crazy and knocked the whole thing off its dual lock, or I don't know, something awful happened. It's really okay for the kids to say, hey, can you really double check? We do that mission. Can you double check it's really stuck down or it's really in the right place? We don't want the kids to reach and do that, but they can certainly ask that referee to double check that model.
Yep, absolutely. And
Oh.
we'd much rather take a moment to double check a model or two or make sure it's pushed down on the dual lock than have it malfunction for the team, because we want them to get all the points they possibly can.
All right. And we're probably at a point now, if anyone has a question, they can unmute.
Josh, there's one that you haven't addressed. Once the robot is started, is it okay if the back of the robot goes in the home area while turning?
Yes, absolutely. Once the robot leaves launch, the robot can go wherever it wants autonomously. So it can come into the home area, it can come back into the launch area, turn around, back up and come back out as much as it would like. The only time that it matters is if the robot has left launch and does not come back to home completely, and the team interacts with the robot. If they touch it or rescue it, then they will lose a precision token. And remember that the robots do need to be autonomous, so make sure that the team shows up with only one robot to their match and with no electronic devices, no tablets, no laptops and such.
All right. Not a lot of questions. So everybody's robot is running perfectly right now. Right? All right. Even if there are any questions about judging or the venue or anything else, be happy to answer anything left. Oh, all right. What happens if there is a tie at the end of the day? Doug, I'm assuming you're meaning like if two teams score 300 or whatever, and that's the high number. Is that your question? I think that's your question. If that is your question, oh, okay, yes. We will give out 2 performance trophies. We might have to order you one, but we will award the team we'll award both teams a trophy.
And that's for performance.
Yep.
During head to head, If there's a tie, we have tiebreakers. And if we can't figure out if you go all the way down on the tiebreakers, the head ref, Josh, might have you guys run again. But so head to head, there are no tie scores, but performance, those are official 3 runs out of it. Oh, here's a good
Yep.
one. Out of curiosity, did anyone update their spike program? Please, 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 please do not update your
Don't
spike.
do it.
Please don't do it.
Just say
I hope you
no.
didn't do it.
Did anyone
And
do
make
it?
sure that if you're using the web interface for the Spike Prime 2, that you're going into the old version.
Oh, looks like Paul did it. I'm sorry.
Yep. So,
Sorry.
luckily, my programming coach had a spare robot that he did not update. So everything transferred.
Okay, good. Good. Yeah, definitely do not update anything until after state. Until you're all done. Oh, someone else did too. So if you updated, I believe, I could be wrong. You lose your programs, or I think it just doesn't talk.
Yeah,
same language.
You have to
Just doesn't talk in
reprogram
the same-
everything.
Yeah.
You can downgrade if you need to. Please contact me in the office and I can help you. We're not going to do it here, but you can send Jeannie at High Tech Kids an email and I can send you the documentation on how to do it.
Yeah.
It's not pretty.
No. Julie, do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a quick
Yeah.
question. It's about the oil platform. We noticed at regionals, like even in the practice pits and things, some of them were so sticky, you literally couldn't move them by hand. And we've played with them a lot because our oil platform was really consistent, but not consistent at regions.
Oh.
And noticed that if they got kind of hit from the side, it would actually kind of shift how things were on the axle and then create.
Oh, Julie, we lost you.
I think we did, but yes, we have noticed the same thing in the regional tournaments, and our refs are sensitive to that and have been making sure that everything is pressed together tightly and as straight as possible. And we do double check that the oil platform actuates properly and releases the energy units as it should.
And I will say, the referees will probably check their mission models periodically throughout the day, but we probably will not check the mission models that are on the practice tables. Only because, well, we just want to make sure the stuff on the performance tables works. So, I mean, when we bring it, it should be working, but throughout the day, if it gets banged up, we probably won't be fixing them on the practice tables.
Yep, and Lori, you are more than welcome to share this video with your co-coaches and your parents. The more informed everybody is, the better.
Yeah, Lori, I will get this posted to the website in the next 2 days. So hopefully tomorrow, but no promises about tomorrow. All right.
Vicki, I have a quick venue question
Yeah.
regarding the food. Is there a contact number that you have that we can get that to call and ask allergy related questions to
Yep.
the River Center?
You know, Sarah, will you email me? Because I'd have to look her email up.
Yeah,
but yes.
absolutely.
Yep. Throw me an email and I can share that with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And when do we expect the tournament to end?
So we're expecting that the award ceremony starts at 6. And someone actually had put in the chat, it is live. I forgot to mention that. Yes, we're gonna do everything live and in person. It's gonna be great. The award ceremony usually goes about half hour-ish. So hopefully by 6:30, 6:40 maybe.
Yeah. At least 45 minutes.
You think?
Yeah. You forgot.
Jeannie's being realistic. Um, all right. Any other questions? Jenna, yep, we can talk about that.
Yeah, Jenna, just send me an email to remind me and I will share that with our head judge and head ref.
Okay.
And yes, teams are welcome to leave before the ceremony. The best thing to do is let me know that you're leaving.
Yep.
And if your team wins an award, we will make sure
Yep.
that we get it shipped to you.
Right,
So-
right. And we should have someone, and if you can't find Jeannie or I, because towards the end of the day, we are held up in the judges room, but we will have somebody at the table that you check in turns into like an information table. And there'll be someone there. And we'll probably leave that person with a team list so that they can, if anybody has to leave early, they can mark who that team is. But all right. If there aren't any other questions, I just want to wish everybody good luck. We are so excited to be in a new venue. We're so excited to have a fully in-person, live, all day. Yeah, I know you guys think all day is long, but all day event. So we're excited to have this event back since 2019 was our last full day in-person state championship. So we're very, very excited. So we hope you guys are excited, and best of luck to all your teams. I hope they're working hard between now and then. And if you have any questions, again, like we said, email Jeannie or I, and we will do our best to help you out. All right, last call for questions. None. Wait, something in the chat. Nope. All right. All right. Well, we will see you all in a couple weeks. And if you come to FTC the day before, stop by and say hi. All right. Good night, everyone.